I saw on the interwebs this week that Colt is releasing a new python. And I thought I'd make a gun video, because gun videos are so popular on this channel. Nah, I just wanted to say a quick thing about about revolvers in general. Let's do that. So yeah, back in the 70s, I don't know what year they started. Back in the 70s and 80s, a really popular revolver was the Colt Python. A picture of it here. Colt is re-releasing the Diamondbacks. They're re-releasing the oh, what was the other one? I don't remember. But now they're coming out with a Python, and I'll tell you, Grandpa had a Python, and I cannot believe what a piece of junk that gun was. The triggers on them are incredibly smooth. They're very easy shooting, and the guns are really accurate because they're really tight. Everything in them is tight, but they were all hand fit, and that means that you can't take a part out of your Python and put it in another Python and have it work. You can't just order a part for your Python and get it and put it in the gun and have it work. Something to be said for that. We took it out and shot it 3 times that I remember, and it broke down twice. Had to be retimed once, and had to have trigger work done for, I don't remember what was wrong, but it had to actually have a part replaced that time. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand why they're going for $3,000. I don't know what the hell's wrong with you people. Why am I making a video about it? I got kicked off of Facebook for saying something horrible and, what was it, violating hate speech rules. So I gotta say something incredibly controversial somewhere. Anyway, yeah, I don't get the Pythons. I don't understand why you guys like them so much. They are not a robust firearm. They are not reliable. Guys were carrying them back in the day. They were carrying them as a duty weapon for police departments and for highway patrol and stuff like that. I don't get that. I don't get it. That gun was not reliable. Yeah, it was really accurate, and I think that's great. Carry an accurate gun, but anyway, I don't really care for the Pythons. I don't understand why people like them. Colt did make some good guns in the 80s that I thought were decent, and I'll say decent. I won't say great or good even. They were right into good. They were good enough. And before the Pythons, I made some good guns too. And some of my favorite guns are Colts, I guess. I don't know. I really like a few of the Colts. I have some here. Thought I'd talk about it. Thought I'd show you this. Before the Python, they had the 1917 New Service in 45 ACP. Before that, in 45 Long Colt. Now this gun is in 357 Magnum, and this gun was made for the Texas Rangers and the Nebraska Highway Patrol, and it's got the floating firing pin. Really good gun. I like it. What I don't care for on it is the to drop the cylinder, to release the cylinder, you have to pull. I don't care for that. You're talking about completely changing your grip on the gun to make it work, or using your second hand. I don't know. I don't know how you would even train to do that. But in 357 Magnum, those didn't come out until I think the 30s. So this gun is later than that. It is not a 1917. It's just a 1917 patterned gun. Anyway, show you something here. We'll get back to that. Cool gun though. I can hit the 135-yard gong at 5 dogs with this pretty regular. And I don't know if you can see this, but right here you've got the rampant Colt. It's almost not completely faded on that gun, but that's what that is. So focus this so you can see it. New service in 1917. 357 Magnum though. This gun was not a conversion. This was made that way. Too cool. Colt made some good guns that were very serviceable. They were duty ready. Let's refocus this. And they were all right. The detective specials, and these are 3rd generation detective specials. I really like these. They are very comfortable in the hand. The grip is incredibly large on that gun. But if you grew up in the 80s, you grew up with that being in the movies. And again, you have the pull to release the cylinder, right? And I'm going to get back to this again. We just saw that with the 1917. I'm going to get back to that. You see the cylinder spin, okay? If you don't know what I'm talking about. You drop that. That ejects the shells. You put new shells in. Bring the gun up. Right? So, these triggers were incredibly smooth. I don't want to dry fire that too much. They also had the floating firing pins, a very old thing at this point. The hammers were pretty light. The triggers are very smooth on these. They're very smooth, which is amazing considering, again, we'll get back to that. Another detective special, same year, same make and model. In case you're wondering, this was my grandfather's. He got the black one, and this was his wife's, my grandmother's. She had the nickel, and that was their go-to. If they had something that they considered a weapon, that was it for both of them. That was it for both of them, which I think is incredibly smart, because if they were on a road trip, Grandma and Grandpa had the exact same gun, the exact same year. They were color-coded so they knew whose was whose. There is a pride of ownership, right? But same ammunition, the same felt recoil, the same grips, the same triggers, the same everything, the same manual of arms. I think that's incredibly smart. My grandfather did that, and he was not a gun guy. My grandfather on my mother's side, Grandpa Jim, was a big gun guy. He liked guns just for guns, and I'm the same way. I like them just for, I like them. Grandpa Frank had a few tools, and that's it. You know, he thought it was important that an American ought to have a gun, and he did, and that's what that was about. And I think, went about it very wisely, having him and his wife shoot the same gun with the same ammo. You know, if I drop mine, you can pick it up, all that. I don't know that he even went that far and thought on it. We didn't talk about it. That's not something that we discussed. I was 18 years old in 1993 when he passed away. So I really wish we'd have had, you know, another 10 years with Grandpa. I could have talked to him about that kind of stuff and got a little more insight. He was a radically intelligent man. And I remember our conversations when I was a kid, and I just wish I had got to know him, myself being a man, better, because I see the evidence of wisdom. And as a kid even, I saw the evidence of extreme intelligence. So that would have been interesting to know. I said I had a later point. This was my other grandpa's go-to, a Smith & Wesson. Now, I prefer these. You'll see me look, because I don't remember. This is a Model 36 No Dash. This is an old gun. But this was his go-to. If I throw a gun in the car and I'm going to go for a trip, it's going to probably be a Glock, just because those guns are incredibly reliable. These are too. And I want to say, you can see the evidence of a gun guy versus a non-gun guy, okay? This is a lot more reliable than this. You can disagree with me all you want. Feel free to comment down in the comments down below. But I'm not just somebody who has a couple boxes full of guns. I shoot my guns, okay? And we're going to get into that too. You see what's going on here? We'll talk about that in a minute. I shoot my guns, and I'm going to tell you, this is more reliable than this. Not by a lot, but by a bit. And definitely this is more reliable than the Pythons, which were not reliable at all. Those guns were junk. They were garbage. I cannot understand what in the hell is wrong with people that they fawn over those guns and they spend $3,000 on them, $2,000 on them, whatever. As a tool, this is not pull it, which is counterintuitive. Absolutely, pulling it is counterintuitive. Pushing it, right, is very intuitive, because bang, 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 you got 5 shots with this gun, and you push. Let's see if we can do this from a little bit different angle. Bang, 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 right, and then you're pushing. You see how it's even one-handed right there, and then do rounds in, close it, bang, 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 bang. This is 6 shots, right? See, I even wanted to push that because it just makes more sense. 6 shots. So bang, 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 and then you're pulling this open, which just, okay, to me it's ridiculous. And we'll go a step past the other one, but you're pulling it, you're dumping it, you're feeding it, right? I'm seeing so many revolvers versus semi-autos videos right now in my YouTube feed. I'm not even going to go into that. Both have their time and their place. Both have a good reason. Smith & Wesson has the push forward. I like that a lot better. We're going to get into that in a second. My favorite are A revolver as a tool, something I can go to. My favorite is going to be the Rugers. And this is, I know I'm jumping from 6-inch to 2-inch to 1 point whatever, 6-8 inches or whatever that is, to 4 inches. This is a combat revolver to me. Now, here's the thing about the Rugers. You push a button. Boop. That didn't just drop out, but there's a reason for that. So, 6-shot, 4-inch barrel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Push the button, right? Feed the gun, drop the thing, whatever. You're back in it. So this is a push button. You're not pushing it forward. You're not pulling it back. You're just pushing it. And with very little training, you're pushing. And that becomes a single movement. I really like the Rugers for that. Great guns. Another thing I like about them that the Colt Python cannot even come close to is this gun is very robust. The trigger group is a separate piece. Everything comes out of the gun very easily. It's easily disassembled for cleaning, for maintenance, for repairs, whatever. And these guns, all the parts are bigger than they need to be. The trigger is not horrible in these. You can see even double action. You can see the gun isn't moving a whole lot. Okay? The grips are comfortable. And the single action's actually really good. Are these as good as a Colt Python as far as the trigger pull goes? Not even close. But as a go-to, as a tool, I can repair this, as a, you know, these are fantastic guns. You know, I'm gonna get to the cylinder spin thing and get away from the Colt Python, because who really cares? I'm sure a lot of you care. I don't. I hope they're a better gun than they were. I'm pretty sure with the modern CNC machine practices that we have, with the CAD drawn blueprints, I have no doubt the modern Python is going to be 10 times a gun that the 70s and 80s Pythons were, and that's not really hard to do. All right, here we go. Ugh. I'm going to get off the Python because I just don't care. Modern Rugers, right? I'm going to be a little more careful with my muzzle control. Again, the push button, this drops right out, and I'm going to go ahead and empty this. This is the LCR and 22 Magnum. It's a fantastic gun. Very little recoil in this gun. I hear it so many times. If you're a little old lady or you've got arthritis, I guess they're okay. Well, I've got arthritis, and most days I'm fine. I can shoot 357 Magnum and not have a problem. But occasionally I roll out of bed, and I'm not kidding, I wish I hadn't woke up. You know, it hurts, and I'm not going to hit anything with a 357 Magnum that day. This, out of this gun, and there's YouTube videos out there, you go look them up, this will meet the FBI standard. You get a couple inches of, you get an inch and a half of permanent wound cavity. You get about 3 inches to 5 inches of temporary wound cavity. The thing will penetrate, you know, 12, 13 inches easy. You know, it won't over penetrate. It does just fine. that round out of a 4-inch barrel is even more than it is out of this little thing. This is the thing that I was going to get to. Whee! You see how much easier that spins. And the thing is, and this is the real point, I'm kind of ragging on the pythons, but you know, that's not really the point here. Here's the oblio oblong moment. If you don't know what that is, go look it up. On a revolver, one of the benefits is you don't have a single chamber. You have several chambers. If you pull the trigger and nothing happens, okay, it's not a problem. Pull the trigger again. It'll bring another round around. It'll set that one off. That other one's dead. It's gone. It didn't do anything. That's just terrible. But you want to talk about second strike capability. On a gun like this, you have no fire dead. You got the rest of them. This is a 6-shot. Okay? I don't know if you can see that. Dud, no problem. Those weren't. Another bad guy. You push that button, you dump that thing, you reload, right? Close it, drop the thing that reloaded with, because you don't need that. Nobody cares. You pick it up later, you know? And 6 more. Now, typically rimfire, you don't want to dry fire like I'm doing here. With the Rugers, it's okay. The firing pin does not strike the actual cylinder. It doesn't. It falls just shy of that by a few thousandths. So you will notice, even though I have dry fired this gun quite a bit, let's refocus. You will notice there's absolutely no peening of the cylinder. It says in the manual for this gun that it's safe to dry fire it. I believe that. And I practice it because now this is double action only. There's no hammer to cock here, and I don't have a problem with that. The trigger is incredibly smooth. You can hold it like this. I typically wrap my thumb up around the grip like that. It just feels better. And you can see it's pretty controllable. So this gun spins pretty free. I dumped the rounds from this one already. This one does not. And the reason this one does not is because this one was fired, I want to say about 2 years ago. And let's refocus this again. This one was fired probably about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And it sits in the safe with rounds in it because that's the great thing about a revolver. There's no spring in the magazine because there's no magazine. There's no magazine. You can stick a revolver in the safe and never worry about it again. Well, I'm going to tell you, that drag spinning that, you feel that in the trigger when you pull the trigger on this. Because when you're pulling the trigger on a revolver, let me double sure. When you pull the trigger on a revolver, you are spinning the cylinder with that trigger. So if that cylinder is stiff because it hasn't been lubricated in a while, right? You're pulling against that when you pull that trigger. Fact. These guns were shot in 2018, I want to say, and then cleaned and put away. They spin a little bit better. They're almost as good as the LCR. Again, the smoothness of that. Ooh, that is nice, I gotta say. I've never had a problem with these guns, but I haven't shot them a lot either. So that's a thing. But you notice how smooth those are. You notice how smooth this one is. This is a go-to, and it could use a cleaning. I'm going to tell you, I feel a little bit of grittiness right there. It could use a cleaning. It's been a few months since I shot this gun. It's kind of dirty. It looks dirty with the cylinder open, right? I'm gonna down there. Yeah, that could be cleaned. Could at least have a bore snake drug through it, but I really like this gun. Oh, it's just a chunk of metal. This thing weighs like 50 pounds. It doesn't weigh 50 pounds. It's pretty heavy though. Anyway, the big point I wanted to make in the gun video tonight, after I bitched about what a piece of junk the Colt Python was, whatever your go-to is, this isn't not lubricated, not maintained, right? It's just sitting in there, ignored. It's been in there for a year or two, maybe 3. It's just in there, and you see how stiff it was. This is a go-to. This is clean. This could be cleaner actually, because I have shot this in the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you can hear that. I can. But this is a go-to. Well lubricated, well maintained, taken care of. Combat ready. Combat. What kind of combat are you going to do with a revolver handgun? This is home defense ready. I use this. I use this all the time. This is set in the safe for a few years. It's not. You see how stiff it is. You see how difficult it is. You see how smooth it is. You see how ready it is. My point being, your skills are no different. The myth that a revolver can sit in a drawer for years and not have a problem, the myth that you can do that, I'm absolutely going to say it's a myth. Can I shoot that revolver right now? Oh yeah, absolutely. You can shoot that revolver. It's not going to give you a problem. Ready to go? Absolutely, you can shoot that revolver. Not a problem. Is it smooth? No. In my book, it's not really ready to go. And that's something that I didn't really pay attention to until the other night when I got it out and was just kind of fiddling with it and going, oh, that thing could use a little bit of oil. Right? That's the truth. Your skills are no different. When you shoot, you go out and shoot regular. You put the gun through the paces. It lets you know that the gun is capable of working. You bring it home, you clean it, you lube it. Excuse me. Again. Oh my gosh. You bring it home and you lube it and you get it ready for the next use. And more importantly, your skills of weapons manipulation, the manual of arms, where am I at? By the way, out of all the revolvers I have, and this is only a few, a very small few, that is difficult on every revolver I've ever picked up. I don't know why. Just the geometry of the grip and bringing that finger in, it's uncomfortable. It's a pain. You almost have to break your shooting grip to get your finger into that trigger guard. especially now that, like I say again, that whole arthritis thing, and I've got a knot right here in the middle of my hand. My friggin' hands don't want to close. My hand is fine. This hand is like, anyway. This gun, no matter how I pick it up, the transition, getting that finger in there is smooth no matter what. And I think it's that elongated trigger guard is what's got to do with it. I would really love this gun with the longer barrel. I'm not going to put my finger in front of that because I did just load that. With the longer barrel, I think it's a 3-inch, and it's got the hammer, the LCR-X. Would love to get this in that configuration because, one more time, guys, 22 Magnum in a 3-inch barrel, and you can cock it and shoot it single action. Holy cow. But yeah, this is the most comfortable for and that's honestly, that's important, being able to do that, having that gun at ready, low ready, and not having your finger on the trigger. That's a big deal. And I honestly don't have a lot of revolvers I can comfortably do that with. So, but, and there you go. That's that practicing. See how that even getting it out brushes, but getting it in is no big deal. Getting it in comfortably is a little bit better of a deal. Anyway, unless you go out and practice, you're not going to learn that stuff. Unless you go out and practice, you're not going to master that stuff. And I don't remember who said it, but when things go bad, you will not rise to the occasion. You will sink to your best level of mastery. You will sink to the level of skill that you have mastery over. That might be a Jaeger quote, I don't know. Anyway, sticking a revolver in the drawer is a myth. You can't just stick it in there forever and count on it. You shouldn't. You really shouldn't. Buying a piano, and you can go buy the most expensive Steinway they make and stick it in the living room. That does not prepare you for Carnegie Hall. The only way to get to Carnegie Hall is practice, practice, practice. And I will say this, high school band teacher said it. Mrs. Messick said, practice does not make perfect. Practice makes permanent. Perfect practice makes permanently perfect. And that goes right hand in hand with you are what you consistently do. You are what you consistently do. Excellence, therefore, is habit, not an act. Aristotle. Anyway, whatever gun you got, whatever you're using, whether it's a revolver or semi-automatic, unless it's a Colt Python, you should take it to the range, you should practice with it, and you should become proficient in its use. I don't recommend that with a Colt Python because they're garbage, and you will break that gun, and it will be very expensive, and you shouldn't do that. Sell your Colt Python, get a GP100, shoot the crap out of it, because it can handle it. Alright guys, thanks for hanging. Hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you take it to heart. It's important. It really is. And I'll catch you on the next one.